Yes, I know. I need to shave. Look at me. I'm a mess. There's no point. Can't go out. Hello, everyone. It's been ages. I think my last video was best films of 2019. That was back in December. Why haven't I made a video since then? I can't really give you a good answer for that. It's the same excuse as always. In fact, no, I'm not going to use that excuse because this time it's not true. I haven't been busy. I've been sat in bed for the last 5 weeks. And before that, yeah, I was busy. But now I'm not. And the last 5 weeks, it's just been pure laziness. So, I thought I might as well go through some self-isolation films. Not films about self-isolation, but films that I think underappreciated, or films that are some of my favourites that you may have not seen before that you can watch in isolation. So it's gonna be a mix of some underrated films from last year and just some of my favourites. The first one I have is Rocketman. It's weird to call this film underrated because it made nearly 200 million, but I don't like comparing this film to Bohemian Rhapsody. It's a completely different film. But Bohemian Rhapsody made 900 million. And when I saw Rocketman and I saw how good it was, I was just like, oh, this could at least make half of what that film made. And it didn't even make $200 million. It nearly did, but it didn't. And I mean, it did well compared to what its budget was. It cost 40 million to make, but it deserved so much more. Taron Egerton as Elton John was just fantastic. I'm still so annoyed he did not get nominated for Best Actor at the Oscars. But to be honest, if I had it my way, this film would have got nominated for most categories at the Oscars, especially Dexter Fletcher for Best Director. That film is directed so bloody well. You can just see his vision. It's so crystal clear what he was going for. And I love this film. It is a musical. That can be a turn-off for some people. But I think in the way it's structured. And yeah, because of the way it's structured, it gets away with being a musical even if you're not a musical fan. But even if you are a musical fan, it's even better. So next is another film which came out at a terrible time last year. To be honest, I didn't even see it till it came out on DVD. And that film is Long Shot, starring Seth Rogen and Charlize Theron. This film was great. I had a lot of fun watching this film. It's very funny, it's very heartfelt. And yeah, it came out like a week after Endgame came out. So no one saw it. But it's a really entertaining film, and I wish more people saw it. Next up, it's weird because sometimes you hear so much about a film, and you're just like, oh, it probably made loads of money. But this film, I haven't checked how much it made. It didn't do great. Well, compared to its budget, it did pretty well. Okay, this film's budget was 6 million, and it made nearly 25 million. But compared to how much I heard about this, Booksmart, I wish this film did a lot better. Again, I didn't see it in cinemas. I wish I did. It's a really entertaining film. I don't think it quite reaches the level of something like The Age of 17, but it's the most relatable film I've seen since then. And yeah, I just had a really good time watching this. The chemistry between the two leads is brilliant. Olivia Wilde's comedic timing is great, and overall I just really liked Booksmart. Next up is a film that I didn't think would flop at the box office, but it did. Blinded by the Light. This film is just really what's the word? Inspiring? It is. You can make an argument that it's cliched, but it's so well written and so well directed, and the incorporation of Bruce Springsteen's music just elevates it so well that Blinded by the Light is a really heartfelt film. And I got goosebumps during the ending scene, and Born to Run is now one of my favourite songs, thanks to this movie. So you guys really should check out Blinded by the Light. There are so many great British films that came out last year now that I think about it. Rocket Man, Yesterday, Blinded by the Light. Those are just three of them. Next, on to the next film. Missing Link. Again, this film really badly flopped at the box office. It made $25 million on a $100 million budget. This film was really enjoyable. Now, I don't think it's to the level of Leica's other films, such as Kubo and Coraline and Paranorman, but I do put it on the same level as the Box Trolls. Missing Link is really, really entertaining. It took me a while to get into it, the first 15 minutes or so, but once Zach Galifianakis' character is introduced, it's really funny, and you care about the adventure, and this is definitely a good one to watch with kids, as is the next film, Angry Birds 2. I don't care, this was my favourite animated film of last year. Toy Story 4 was really disappointing, but I loved Angry Birds 2. I'm not ashamed to admit it. This film has probably the funniest sequence in any film last year. That of the bathroom scene. If you've seen the film, you know what scene I'm talking about. I was genuinely struggling to breathe when I watched this in the cinemas. And it was quite awkward because the cinema was kind of full with children. The only two people laughing at that scene was me and some other woman at the front of the cinema. That's it. But Angry Birds 2 was really, really funny. It's directed by Frop Van Orman, I think that's how you pronounce his name. And he's got a Cartoon Network, I believe, background. So his style of humour works really well here. And I just had a great time watching Angry Birds 2. It's a lot better than the first one. And you know what? It's the best video game movie ever made. Talking about British films that came out last year, which I was earlier. Fighting with My Family, written and directed by Stephen Merchant, starring Nick Frost, Florence Pugh, and The Rock. This film was, again, really inspiring. It makes you want to follow your dreams. It's funny, and I mean, it's Stephen Merchant doing it. Stephen Merchant is hilarious, but this film was funny but heartfelt at the same time, and this was one of the best cinema experiences I had last year. Maybe a bit of change of camera angle, storage reasons, so I had to delete some stuff so I could carry on this video. Anyway, the next film is a film that I wish did a lot better than it did. I thought it would do a lot better than it did, considering it's a sequel to my all-time favourite horror film, a lot of people's all-time favourite horror film, Doctor Sleep, the sequel to The Shining. Now, this film isn't as good as The Shining, but at the same time, it's a really enjoyable continuation. Ewan McGregor as Danny Torrance, perfect casting. And Mike Flanagan, what I love about what he did with this film is that, yes, he used elements of Kubrick's original film, but at the same time, it is its own thing. I mean, the third act is basically a tribute to The Shining, but everything before that is its own thing. I really enjoyed Doctor Sleep, and I think you guys should give it a shot, although it is very long. It's 2.5 hours, but still, it's a really good film. Alright, so those are the films from last year. Now I'm going to get into my some of my favourite films. These are all comedies, because we could all use some comedy at this time. So, let's start with my top two all-time favourite comedies. First off, my number one all-time favourite comedy, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. What can be said about this film that hasn't been said? John Hughes wrote and directed the hell out of this movie, and it's just, the film never stops. There is one moment that kind of drags, but it's a character building moment, so it's necessary, and I can't complain. And Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Matthew Broderick is hilarious. All the fourth wall breaking stuff just works so well. And I will never tire of watching this movie. John Hughes is a legend. And yeah, Ferris Bueller's Day Off is my all-time favourite comedy. So, my second all-time favourite comedy is Stepbrother, starring John C. Reilly and, what's his name, Will Ferrell. Directed by Adam McKay, who is, I believe, an Oscar-nominated director now. But this film is just again, hilarious, so rewatchable. The thing is, both Ferris Bueller and Stepbrothers, part of the reason why they are my all-time favourite comedies, yes, they're funny, but that's not all they have to them. At the heart and centre of both Stepbrothers and Ferris Bueller, these really interesting characters, but you get to know them. They don't feel like characters who just stare at the screen and tell a joke. These are actually characters you can understand. And that's what I love about both of these films. Next up is a Seth Rogen comedy. He's a supporting character, but super bad. With Michael Cera and what's his name, Jonah Hill in the lead roles. This film is hilarious. Again, storage reasons. I really need to delete some stuff. Anyway, Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Fogel is hilarious. He's just a legendary character. Seth Rogen and Bill Hader as the two police officers are honestly my favourite part about this film. And overall, Superbad is just really, really funny. Next on this list is a film that I don't think even made half of its budget back, but this is one of my favourite comedies in recent years. Popstar Never Stop, Never Stopping. The music in this film is brilliant. I mean, it's so funny, and the thing is, they are actually kind of good songs. I know they're supposed to be funny, but they are kind of good songs. Like the Mona Lisa song, that's a good song. Like, and the Incredible Thoughts song as well. And Andy Samberg is this kind of Justin Bieber, mockery kind of character, is so endearing, and although he's kind of unlikable at times, you still really feel for his character, and that's what I love about Popstar. Please watch Popstar. It's not very well known, but I really hope more people get to see it in the future. The next two films are a sequel, an original and a sequel, Ted 1 and 2. Now, I still don't know which one I like more. I think they're both fantastic, but Seth MacFarlane is a genius. If you don't like Family Guy, don't watch the Ted films. But Ted is filled with crude humour, language, and all of that stuff. But it's brilliant, so funny, and MacFarlane's and Wahlberg's chemistry in both of the films is just amazing. Watch both of the Ted films, they're great. So the final film I'm going to talk about is another Seth Rogen comedy written and directed by Judd Apatow, Knocked Up. It might be my favourite of one of those kind of movies. Knocked Up is funny. I know I keep saying that about every film, but Knocked Up is funny, it's heartwarming, and what I love about it is that it's not just a comedy. There are those intimate scenes where you get to know the characters and you see Katherine Heigl and Seth Rogen interacting. I know Katherine Heigl has come out and said stuff about the film years after its release, but I still think Knocked Up is a classic. Judd Apatow made a great film. There is sort of a spin-off movie to this. This is 40, but that film is just, I couldn't get into it, to be honest. But yeah, anyway, those are the films I recommend you watch in self-isolation. I'm planning on doing a video on all the films I've watched in self-isolation so far. But that's going to be a long video. So, yeah. I do want to try and make more videos. I know I say that at the end of every video, but I do. I don't not make videos to annoy you guys. I'd never do that. But as a teen, sometimes motivation to do anything is just not there. Even when you enjoy it, I enjoy making videos, but sometimes motivation to make videos just isn't there for me. I want the motivation to do it, I just don't have it sometimes. I've been working on a lot though, although I have been sat in bed doing it. I wrote my first feature-length screenplay. I've also written a short film. So yeah, anyway, thank you for watching this video. I'm actually going to leave a link in the description to something I hope you guys will be able to donate to and help. Or if you could just share it around if you're unable to, that would be great as well. So thank you for watching this video. You guys are awesome. Blu-ray Billy, logging off.